So here's the question: how did YouTube meet?
We were trying to be entrepreneurs before, and he was like a multi-level marketer, right?
Yeah, I was going
Some energy
crazy.
drink. Nah, he was out there, and I was like, man, let me see what dude talk about. We hung out one time, and it was kind of like I was like, man, what the hell is going on here? But he was mad cool though. He was mad cool, and we stayed in touch on socials or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so he got caught in my trap. I was marketing this energy drink, like a multi-level marketing. Um, and I was posting stuff, doing marketing or whatever. He fell into the trap. He joined, what I'm saying? We did all right. It didn't go
I did.
anywhere.
He got me.
Yeah.
Nah,
It was one of those network
I
marketing
could. It
things.
was hard for me to get a drink, bro. I knew it was tough when it was hard for me to get a drink, bro.
We
Like,
mean
we
get a
went to the
drink? Like,
building and they had
oh, the
the
Verve
Verb
building?
drink.
They didn't have any?
Yeah.
I don't
Nah,
know.
they
I,
was like,
I
you got to
always
get one
had
out the back
I
or something
always had a
crazy.
case. I was stockpiled with
Yeah.
it.
But nah,
So
that's how we met. Like we did that, and then I reached out about the podcast, and here we are. I got that on 28, 29, 30 episodes in.
yeah, this will be, I think this is episode 30. Figuring shit out, episode 30, I believe. I'm not sure. You know who I am, Bunny Flocks. Visit my website, Solution Perspective, bunnyflocks.com. We got King Arthur in the building.
Y'all know what time it is. Unify, Thrive. Y'all can see the websites down there. Download the apps. Check out the websites. If you need a site,
Cool.
come holler at us. We need some.
Oh, for sure.
We need some people on the team. So come holler at us, man.
Yeah,
We
we need
growing
a
over here.
staff.
So
Yeah, for real.
what
For
we
real,
got going
for
on
real.
different?
We have Master Talk founder Brendan. I don't want to butcher your last name. You just told me how to say it. Brendan Kumarasamy, right?
You
Am I
got it.
close?
No,
Good enough. Yeah, there it
that's
is.
it.
Kura
Matt.
Moss.
Yep.
Okay.
Master Talk
You go.
CEO, founder of Master Talk. He is a public speaking specialist. I have a love-hate relationship with public speaking. We're going to get into that. But how are you doing today, sir? How you
Very
doing?
good, Bunny King. Thanks for having me. Really good to
Cool,
be on.
cool. So I guess the first question, as always, what was your figuring shit out moment? It could be when you figured out you wanted to do the public speaking thing or anything. What was your figuring shit out moment?
For sure. I would say for me, there's a bunch of figuring shit out moments in my life. I think the first moment was when I was 12 and the career counselor came up to us and said, "Hey, you got to figure out what you want to do in your life." And when you're
Right,
12, well, you go like, "I want to be an astronaut," so that doesn't work. So I had to figure my shit out there. I made a
right,
list of all of the careers because I needed to take it seriously. My parents were factory workers. I need to figure that shit out for sure, or else we're all done.
right, right.
And then I made a decision to be an accountant. So that was the first thing. So then I
Okay.
studied for 7 years, did really well in school. Then I went to college, and then I had to figure out the next thing, which is how do I get a job in this field?
Right, right.
And then I got a job in that field. And then the third thing that I had to figure out was then what do I do with my life? Because I started making money, but I wasn't happy. So I was like, okay, how do I create something that can really help people and also fulfill my need for purpose and whatnot? So I
Right.
figured some shit out. I answered a bunch of questions and I found Master Talk.
Nice. So how
So
old is
it
Master
was
Talk?
like good. Yeah.
So I've been coaching for probably 7, 8 years, but I started making YouTube videos probably like January 2019. So it's been like almost four now.
Where'd you
Wow.
get master talk from? Like, was somebody telling you to shut up because you wouldn't stop talking? You know what I mean? Like, or was it like you persuaded somebody to from jumping off a building? You're like, oh,
Oh wow,
I got the
Master Talk. You
gift.
sound like psycho
You know
warfare or
what I mean?
something.
You
Yeah,
know what I
that
mean?
sounds like Psycho Wars. That's a different. I don't know what you're into, King, but this is a different. So for us, it was I just got lucky with the word King. Somebody just we made a list. We had an Excel spreadsheet, so we did it really nerd style. We had 300 names that we just
Oh
wrote
wow.
down, and then we ended up picking Master Truck, and it wasn't trademarked. So I was like, perfect. This sounds really nice. So we went forward with it.
Nice. Okay,
That
so
sounds
you
like a
got
lot of
this.
thought went into it.
Yeah, and it sounds good. I mean, it works. You like
Yeah,
I
it's
looked
good.
at the
Yeah,
YouTube, you got 29,000 subs, so that's dope.
it has a ringer to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Something's working.
yeah. So are you is speaking or public speaking communication a passion of yours? You want to help other people become better communicators? Is it a passion or is it's just something you always thought about doing?
Yeah, so at the beginning, what I was doing before, I was in IT as well back in the day. I was a tech consultant at IBM. That was my past life.
Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I was doing well there financially, but I think for really like the communication was really my passion. Because when I was in college, I was helping all the other students. I did these things called case competitions. Think of it like hackathons, but for business school. So other
Okay.
guys my age were doing like football or baseball or some other
Sports.
competitive sport. Yeah.
Right.
I did presentations competitively so I can get a
Nice.
job. And then I just got
All
Okay.
right.
obsessed with them, and that's how I
Forward
learned how to
thinking.
speak. Yeah, you got it. It wasn't really forward thinking. I think it was more necessity,
But let me
right?
this thing's always there you go. See, I was really red and I put my hand and it focuses and I'm blue.
There you
But
go.
that's cool. That's cool.
It's true. It's
It's out of
different.
necessity, huh?
Yeah, you got it. Necessity, King, because there was no choice. I needed to win because my parents
Mhm.
were minimum wage workers, right? So I needed to make money, or else we were finished. So I studied really hard to get the job. I didn't want to become an entrepreneur. Master kind of landed on my lap accidentally
Oh,
because I
nice.
got the job I wanted, and then I accidentally coached 60 people seriously. It was really an accident. Like I was just coaching all these
Hmm.
students, and I didn't really
Wow.
know how to coach. And I just started making YouTube videos, and it just turned to something I never
That's
thought it would.
crazy.
And then I became more intentional later.
What I always say,
So,
Frank, plant every seed.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So, I guess so in your experience, right? So you're a coach, you teach people how to communicate better. In your experience or what you can gather, why is public speaking such a fear? Why is it so paralyzing for some people? Like, what have you discovered about the fears behind public speaking?
For sure, buddy. When I first got that question, somebody asked me where the fear of communication came from, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know, man. LA, Los Angeles, you tell me, man. I don't know. So obviously, I learned a lot since then.
Right.
So what I gathered, guys, is communication. The reason we struggle with it and we're fearful is because of the education system. Elementary
Sounds fair.
school, right? High school,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you guys have kids, so they're going through that right now,
Facts.
where all of those presentations have three main problems. So the first one is all of them are mandatory. We don't wake up in the morning and go like, "Hey, you guys want to get breakfast and present all day?" Like nobody says that.
Mhm.
Right. Not
Nobody
a
does that.
soul, right? Not a single person I know. That's true.
Okay.
Right. So that's problem one. Problem two is all of those presentations are never tied to a passion. So it's never like, what do you care about, buddy? Do you care about animals? Do you care about samurais, video games, passions, hacking, right? You have to talk about Shakespeare and poetry, and you got to get over it. That's just life.
Right. That reminds me of my high school. I got a story about that, but
There you go. And then the third problem is all of the presentations, guys, are tied to a punishment. So if
mm,
you don't do a great job, you lose 25% of your grade. So we
oh,
grow up believing that it's a chore, so it becomes one, and nobody wants to get better at doing dishes. So there you go.
that's
And that is,
funny.
that is a thought that damn, cause if I don't do my presentation well or confidently, I'm getting deducted. Damn, I'm already shook up, right? Even more.
Exactly.
That's
You got
wild.
This
the
is
point.
a this is a perfect segue into so when I was in high school, English, I failed uh English class because of my presentation. So I didn't care. In high school, I really wasn't participation. I wasn't active in high school. I didn't want to be there. But that aside, and you have those final presentations we got to present to the class. Like you said, something from a book, Shakespeare, whatever. I totally didn't do it. Well, I didn't do the background. I didn't do the research. Teacher called me up anyway, and I'm thinking, well, I didn't do it. Do I still got to go up there? And I kid you not, I blacked out. I stood up, walked to the front of the class, rambled. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. It's like I was in another body. If you knew me, no, no, I was speaking, but I think I was making shit up about the story of the book. If you see this and you knew me in high school and you was in that class, please tell me if you remember that moment. Cause I know I walked
That's
up
wild.
there and I just spoke for it was like 5 minutes or whatever you had to speak for. And I just shot off the hip, sat back down like, ooh, I did it. And then I failed. But that's my story. When I was in high school, I didn't care. And I think still have issues today, but I'm trying to get over that. So
Traumatized.
right.
Right. And thanks for sharing that, buddy. Because that really illustrates the point, which is I don't think that's your fault. Oh, sure, you had made a mistakes, like we all
I
do in the
could have
education
tried.
system.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Like I was ditching class in my last year of university, a little bit later in the education
Uh-huh.
system, but we all make mistakes. But I think the big thing that you're touching upon is like the education system didn't help you by any means. They didn't sit down and go like, what do you care about? What are you passionate about? And they kind of
Right.
left you to dry, and that's why we grew up with these fears.
Yeah. Yeah. If it was something I probably would have tried, but I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, the day's gonna come, she's gonna ask me, I'll blow it off, or I'll just whatever. I'll just stand up there and talk about whatever. So again, I don't know what I was talking about or even what my assignment was, but that's my
So
story. That's
does all right, I had a question for you. Does that fear of him going up there and going through with it, does that help or hinder him? Because like I said, he hasn't tried to speak again, right? Was
no,
traumatized
I
again,
have.
but
No, I have.
I'm saying, like, did you use that for experiences like juice or
Nah, that was just like a
no?
terror moment in my life.
So it
But I
didn't help.
have done since then. I've had, for my job, we talked about when I was at the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
So I have another story about the Pentagon we can talk about
You're at the
later.
Pentagon? Damn,
Yeah.
buddy, let's go, man.
Yeah, no, I worked there for like 2.5, 3 years. Um, fuck it, we might as well go into it. My first day at the Pentagon, it was a Friday. It was a Friday. I relocated from here up to Arlington. Friday, we go in. I go in. I've been there before, but this is like I'm going there to work for 2 years. Like I knew it was a contract thing. First day, walk into the office. Um, Usually there's somebody else there that would present cybersecurity stuff to the elite, to the brass or whatever. That person wasn't there that day. And for some reason, during this time, we had Friday meetings at 10 a.m. every Friday. Like, who the fuck schedules meetings that are so important on a Friday? These guys did. So I get in there. I literally just walk through the door. It's like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then they're like, oh, you're here. Glad you're here. You got a brief in 2 hours. And I looked around like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where's the guy that's supposed to be doing this? Like, I know he's here. Like, we on the phone all the time. Like, oh, he had something to do. He's off today. Da, da, da. So since you're here, that's you. So my very
You the
first
guy.
day, right? I'm the guy. My very first day in the Pentagon. 2 hours notice, I got to do this brief in this room. It's like a conference room, whatever. Obviously, I was terrified. I got it done. I did it, and then I had a brief every Friday after that for months and months. But it's just one of those things. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you throwing me under the bus like this? And I was so upset about it. But it's something you got to fight through. If I could go back and look, I don't know if I did good. I felt like I did okay, but it could have been better. But it's just one of those things when it's
care.
Yeah, when it's your career, you do or die.
Just want
Right?
that
I mean,
shit
I
over
couldn't do
with.
the shit I did in my high school class there, obviously. Right? I'm like,
Right.
whatever. But yeah, so that's my Pentagon story. So,
Are you looking for a media agency that covers all the creative tasks that make a business successful? Lucid Perspective produces elegant, high-resolution graphics and logos, high definition and 4K video, complete with treatment concepts and innovative editing. Lucid Perspective provides photography services such as fashion, advertisements, product or service, and aerial photography. We also help businesses build their brands from the ground up with complete campaigns that will make your business attractive to your target audience. We can bring your brand to the masses with our effective and strategic marketing campaigns to include sales funnels, eye-catching advertisements, breakthrough digital marketing through social media, and other digital avenues. Visit lucidperspective.com today.
But the thing you're touching on, and thanks for that, Bunny, is that the energy you're bringing is the same though, which is like because you think back to the memories you had when you're in high school, and you're like, so when you go to the brief, you're not like, wow, I'm so excited to get to present this brief in 2 hours.
no,
No, you're like,
no,
shit, like first day. I hope I don't
right,
mess this up. I hope I don't get fired for this. Like, my God.
right.
And that's why we grow up not wanting to even get better. And the analogy here is like, let's say basketball, right? So
Mm,
there's a very big difference to King's point. Like, do you think this experience hindered us or not? And the answer to that question, King, is one part of it is going, yeah, if you're playing basketball casually with your friends, you're going to get
right.
better at basketball. You're going to have fun. You're going to keep doing it. But if I'm standing there and I throw a basketball at your head every time you miss your hoop, you don't
You're
want to play
gonna hate
basketball anymore, but that's what we're doing in high school with kids.
it. Facts.
Oh, man. So all right, how would you suggest a parent, right? I don't know if you have children. You have children?
Not for a long
I don't
time.
even, I don't even want to, I don't even want to answer this question, but how would you suggest?
But I got the answer to that though.
I hear you. I'm listening.
What was the question?
How do you suggest parents encourage their child or instill some
that's a
confidence
good
into their child with public speaking?
Oh, that's a good one.
We ain't got no
Absolutely.
kids, Frank.
For sure. No, my average client, by the way, is way older than I am. It's probably like 20 years older than me.
No.
They just
Okay.
they just trust me because I got the insight, so I figured it out.
That's all right.
But yeah, so the answer is actually really simple, King. It's a couple of things. So there's three things I recommend for kids specifically that parents do with them. So the first one is called the random word exercise. Pick a random word like lip balm, like tiger, like zebra, unicorn, master, like any word, it doesn't matter. And have them do a random presentation on that word on the spot. So here's how you do this with kids. You go up to the kid, it doesn't matter how old they are, as long as they're 5 and over, it will work just fine. And you have them give you a word first. You go up to your kid, you go, hey kid, give me a word, and then they give you like door, and then you give a presentation, and then you give them a word. So what you do is you're including them, and you're also being the leader. Does that make sense so far?
That,
So that's
that's
one.
dope.
Second one will save you a bunch of money. It's called the buyer's presentation. Here's what you do. Your kid probably asks you to buy something for them every week.
Every day.
Every
5
day.
minutes, yes.
There you go. Hey dad, can I get this? Can I get
No,
this?
every
Especially
ad.
around this time.
Every ad.
Yeah,
every
every
YouTube
ad.
ad.
Especially around this time.
So instead of saying no up front, making an opportunity to learn. So go up to the kid and go, sure, I'll consider it if you give me a 5-minute presentation explaining why I should invest the money into this. And 80% of the time, they won't bother you anymore, which means you'll save some money. So there's free cash flow for all of you.
That's
But
funny. Right.
But because you're not saying no. This I actually got this from Dan Fleischman. He's a very successful guy. He
Mhm.
said never say no, always say yes and nobody ever does the end.
Put
Right?
conditions
So
on it, right? Yeah.
right. So let's say somebody comes up to Dan and goes, "Hey, I'm looking to raise $100,000 for my startup." He just goes, "Yeah, just send me your business plan," and they never send in the business plan. They like never do.
Nobody has one.
That's
Nobody
crazy.
has
First
one.
off, why are you asking for 100K without a business plan? That's
Correct.
crazy.
Apply the same rationale with your kids. Why are you asking for $10 to buy this candy bar if you're not bringing the chops? But what will happen is 10 to 20% of the time, depends on the kid, they'll actually prepare the presentation because they want it that badly,
Mm.
and they'll automatically get better at communication. But you were gonna buy that thing for them anyways, so you
Right.
just get them to practice. And then the third one is video messages. Have them send video messages to your distant relatives, aunts, aunties, uncles, to just wish them happy holidays. It melts their heart. They
Right.
get, and it encourages the kid. That's it. Do
That's
this with
dope.
it.
That's dope.
Yeah, bro. The second one I kind of do. I make my son do push-ups.
He does them?
So if he wants something, no, I'll be like, do 90 push-ups.
Oh my
but he'll
God.
try. And so I'm like, I be wanting to get it because he tried, bro. But like,
How
no,
many
I'm
he
not getting
get?
it anyway.
How many
How
you
old's
get?
your
He do like
kid?
12 push-ups like 4. He's 4.5.
You know what? I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna use that on my son. My son's 11. He can use some
Bro,
push-ups, but he does
if
those.
you can give me 50, if you can give me 50 straight push-ups or 25 and a half and 25 in 2 seconds, you'll get it, bro. He'll try
That's dope.
and watch him fail miserably.
I mean, the push-ups are good, guys. I think I would encourage you to mix it up though, because the goal is just not to work their body, but more importantly to work this, because this is what pays, right? It's the
Yo,
brain. So yeah, you can make them do push-ups, sure, but
what
I
if
think
you
the
make him do push-ups while giving a presentation? Just talk
that's
about
that's
the
some next level shit, man. That's figuring some shit out right there, man.
Oh no, I use that for spelling.
Right.
We had a problem with the word
spell,
this. And we
spell
did
these
push-ups
words
with the
and do
word this.
push-ups at the same time.
Facts. And he got it though.
That's crazy. But yeah, no, my kid, he's good. He's a good comedian. He's getting better, but he has that shyness. So like, so those are the 3 things for presentation, but is there something for shyness? And not just in kids and adults and everybody. Like if you're superly over shy, what is, I guess, a method to overcome or fight through that?
Correct. So those techniques really do help. So, but the key is really to overemphasize the compliments, especially if they're young, like less than 18, even less than
Right.
18, I'd recommend, like 16, I'd recommend the same thing, which is if they do the random word exercise once, you over index on the compliment. So you go like, wow, let's say your son's name is John or something. Wow, John, like, wow, that was so amazing. Did so well. Now give me a word. So you have to over index on the compliment. That's one. Another thing to help with shyness is asking them open-ended questions. We don't do this a lot as parents because we're stressed out, right? We have a lot of things to do and they're always asking us
Right.
things.
We try to dismiss them mostly,
Yeah.
or
And it's
right.
tough,
Just
right? We got tough life and that's how it works. So the questions that I would encourage parents to ask their kids more is more open-ended, like, hey, what's the biggest lesson you learned about yourself this year? That really gets the kid to think. So when the person is
mm,
really shy, they go, huh? And then they start to answer that question because they're intrigued because no one asked them that.
okay.
Okay.
That sounds like a
My son
plan.
probably say he a Power Ranger. But anyways.
That might work on me. So
What'd
it's
you
like an
say?
improv.
Yeah.
No,
Cool.
I used to think I was shy. Like I said it before, I used to think I was shy. When I just realized I didn't have anything to talk about. And when I realized, I had something to talk about or whatever, I had a subject matter, it wasn't that tough for me to talk. Like you kind of said, with the
The
teachers in
random
school,
word.
not
Oh,
yeah, the random words with the teachers in school, right? Having the kids talk about stuff they don't really give a shit about, right?
correct. 100%.
Mm.
Cool. So does the you know how they say all the time, if you're nervous or shy, whatever, just picture everybody in underwear. I
Oh my
never done
gosh.
that. Is that a real thing that actual works, or is that just baloney? People just say, you know what I mean? I've never used it personally. I could never.
And that and that's the reason
I
why I
can never.
started that's the reason why I started Mass Talk, guys, because you got a bunch of bullshit on the internet
Okay.
about
So it
how
is
to
fake.
communicate
Okay.
ideas. I mean, let's play this logic out a little bit, which we never do. What if you have an attractive audience, then what do you do? Like, do you just
Get a
stare at
boner.
them? You stare at them and
Wait,
then
what'd you say?
Get a boner.
Oh wow, God.
you got a bright future, King. It's cool. But that's the
I don't
thing,
know. That's a good question. I
right?
mean, I
Like,
don't. For me, it don't even matter. They could be
exactly.
zombies. They could be ugly. They could be attractive. I'd still be the same.
But that's the
Um,
key. It doesn't make any
right.
sense. Like, it doesn't help
True.
people.
True. Right. So I wonder where that came from. Some urban legend somewhere. Somebody
Some
made.
urban
All right.
Absolutely.
How about this one? So myself and Frank over here plan on doing some live podcasts, right? We plan on going to events or
Mm-hmm.
festivals or wherever we go, right, to do a live show. Um, Frank here isn't so
It's the
comfortable. What's up?
logistics, huh?
Okay.
It's
All right, here we go. How should we go about communicating what we were talking about to the people we're talking to, like to keep them engaged while they're watching us?
That's a good question.
I won't modify you.
To keep
You
so
could.
let me throw a clarification back your way, King. Do you mean like the listeners listening to this podcast, or do you mean like doing a
The
podcast while other
audience,
people are watching? Like, so you're thinking like you guys are doing a
Like a
podcast like a
stage.
guest, and people are just watching you do the podcast?
so let's say we just like on the side talking, and but we have like people watching us. How could we keep them engaged in our conversation?
Okay, so it's like you're doing a podcast. Let's say we're all doing a podcast together, and somebody's just watching us do the podcast.
Like a stage. So I'm like, we're on stage and there's an
Kind of,
audience.
but
Or are you
not.
talking about the festivals? Like, so were you talking about like outdoor live, like we're at a festival or a carnival or some type of outdoor event, and maybe people are walking by and we got to
Right.
set up maybe a booth, a table, whatever, we're talking, and then
How do we
grabbing
get them to
people,
stop and stay and watch it?
right, grabbing people from wherever and then having them sit or whatever, like off the cuff, I guess, type of thing.
Yeah.
That's tricky. It's an interesting question. There's a couple of angles you can approach this with, and one of them will make sense for your show. So one is to have an interesting theme or activity that's taking place while the conversation is being had. I'll give you
Mhm.
an example with Sean Evans from Hot Ones. I think he's done that masterfully well. For those who
With the
don't
hot
know,
wings, yeah, no,
yeah.
yeah, he's
But
dope.
what a lot of people don't know about Sean is that his first episodes were not in a studio. They were actually at festivals because they couldn't convince celebrities to actually do the show. Because
Oh
somebody's like, why
wow,
would I go to a studio to eat chicken wings that are spicy? Like, this is a waste of my time. So what
right.
Sean would do that I thought was really brilliant is he would stop celebrities at the festival or an event, be like, hey, we got a table set up here. Do you want to come do an interview? And half most of them would be like, no. And then with a one-off would go, sure, I'll eat chicken wings while talking, and then it attracts a crowd. So that's one way of playing
Oh,
that,
that's a good
right?
idea. Well,
I
we
like
can't do
that.
the
Yeah, I
hot
like
wings,
that.
but yeah, something
Yeah,
something similar.
something like that. The other way to approach this is you include the audience in the conversation, which is tough to facilitate, but you basically have a third person who's in your team who's fielding questions for the audience and throwing it back into the conversation. That's one way of thinking about it, or making a group discussion. And then the third one is just to be funny. Be funny.
Right.
I got
It's
that
funny,
one, Brody. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay. I'm not a comedian or anything.
Put like a king's
I
hat
feel
on.
like-
Put like a king, royal king.
That'd
A
be dope.
crown.
Yeah.
I feel like I can be humorous if I'm not really trying hard, but if I feel like I have to do a stand-up routine or something, I'm just gonna bomb.
it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's
It's
gotta-
tough to
it's gotta
pull
flow.
off. I think in general, guys, I wouldn't approach that. I wouldn't do it that way at the beginning. I think it's good to do it live, but I don't think you should force yourself to have an audience if it doesn't feel right to you guys. I think that's
Right.
unless you guys really want that.
And then the other part of it is the technicalities. Like I'm kind of the
Right.
tech producer guy. So like here, right, it's just three of us. We got Zoom, we got mics, we got headsets. It's easy. It's a controlled environment. The
For
worst
sure.
thing that can happen is the connection gets lost. That's literally the worst thing. Try to take this and put into a live scenario. Now we got people, we got hotspot Wi-Fi going out, we got power
Background
issues,
noise.
background noise. So like every time we get into the conversation, like we might want to do a live podcast, whatever. I go straight to fucking terror mode. Like it's not gonna work. Something's gonna break. We don't have the controlled environment like we have here. So then if you add that pressure onto trying to be present in the moment and actually speak and talk with somebody or improvise and be, I feel like it's gonna just come across as either he's trying too hard, he's too nervous, or he don't know what the fuck he's doing out there. That's
And
my
see,
fear. You know
Hey,
what I'm saying?
Frank.
But if I had someone else to do the technical stuff,
Uh-huh.
then I could probably be present and not worry about it. if
That's
that
why I
makes
like
sense.
that's why I like you, Frank, because I'm a solution oriented guy, right? I'm trying to find missing solutions, but Frank could throw me 100 issues. And I'm like, we can do this, boom, we can do this, boom, we can do this, boom.
Right.
I don't know about this one. We can do this. Then
Right.
we'll go down the list. We'll get about 80 of them done. Then we got 10 issues to worry about. Now he feel a hell of a lot more comfortable going out here and trying this thing than before when I
Right.
first brought the idea to tell. He's more like, man, you out your goddamn mind.
Are you new in town or need a fresh cut on the fly? Let me show you a convenient way to hire a mobile hair care pro now. Simply download the Cuddy app from the App Store. Create a profile and have access to professional mobile barbers and stylists in your area. The Cuddy app allows you to browse for hair care professionals 24/7. View their profile and share your locations to find the nearest one. Once you've found the perfect pro with just a click of a button, have a professional meet you in a matter of minutes. This means no more worrying about running late, waiting for the next chair to open, or missing your appointment completely. Reclaim your valuable time and put your mind at ease knowing your hair care pro is on the way. Cuddy app is the only place to hire a hair care pro whenever you are ready, wherever you are. Cuddy app. Join the revolution today.
So I think it would
What's
be a
up?
great idea, but if we had another person or like a team to do the technical stuff, and I'm like, you got it,
Mhm.
okay, good, let's do our thing, and we'll be good. But that's my only issue.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't start with like a live festival. I would start with more like maybe get an in-person thing going with a couple of guests. That way the tech's a lot more stable. And then you kind of move up from there. Because what's nice about podcast guesting that I love is once you get somebody really good on the show who's like well known in the space you want to kind of play in, and you build an in-person relationship with them, they'll introduce you to their gang, right? And then
That's true.
you'll have all of them on the show. It's pretty simple. If you guys are good hosts, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope. We got. I felt like at some point, like I told you earlier, I'm in Hampton Roads and he's in Northern Virginia. I don't know when, wherever we can facilitate some type of space where, we'll have a sit down place and we'll deck it out, make it nice, cameras, lights, action, all that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what
There you
happens
go.
with that.
If somebody want to come sponsor this thing, man, I'm about it. I don't
Yeah.
mind. He can come to Richmond. What's up?
Throw us 100,000. We won't ask for a business plan. I promise you. Just throw us the money. Right.
We can double that for sure.
Yeah, send me a business plan and we'll see it for sure.
Okay, cool. So how do
I'm
you
with it.
so do you have any events like do you do like courses or public speaking
How do you
events?
get money?
Right there you go. There's the question.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure this out too at the beginning because the way I was making money was from my corporate job, right? I was making
Mm,
YouTube videos, and people think you make money as a YouTuber. Yeah, you don't see money until you're doing at least 100K above in subs. So
right.
I'm probably doing like 200 bucks a month on ads, but I spend 1,000 a month on production, so I'm losing money on my channel. That's really to
Right.
help people. But the way that I make the money to do this full time is really private coaching with my top end executives. So what I realized as I got older and I got more experienced is 99% of people who are watching my YouTube videos, they'll just get free value.
Hmm.
But one out of 100, one out of 300 is like a high level CEO or an executive at a company, let's say cyber executive, and they watch the videos. They'll watch one or two because they're busy. They go, oh,
Right.
okay, he's pretty good. I want to buy his time directly. I just want him to help me. Like,
That's
for
dope.
example, like some people watch YouTube videos, other people just don't want to work out. They'll just hire a personal trainer to force them to work out. So it's
Yeah, I probably
faster.
should do that too.
So yeah, that's the way that we've done it.
Okay, cool. So you had a YouTube channel for like a few years. You got 30,000 subs. I watched some of the videos. They're definitely dope. Um,
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
do you have social media? Like I think I tried to find you on social media. I didn't necessarily find. I don't know if you're hiding out just on YouTube or did you have other links or website and things like that?
No, 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 for sure. So we're active on 4 platforms. It's just
Okay.
for one, LinkedIn is impossible to find because my name, as you can see, is like freaking impossible to spell. So
Okay.
that's impossible. So you
Right.
need like a secret gateway to get to me there. For TikTok and Instagram, I'm at Master Your Talk, not Master Talk, because I
Oh,
couldn't get the handle. But yeah, we post daily on both of those platforms.
Gotta pay for
so
that, Brody.
is it all
Yeah, yeah, we'll
master
see.
your no any underscores or anything or just
No, no, it's straight
master
shot.
your
Yeah.
talk? Okay,
So,
that's
so
dope.
two questions for you. You got a question for you? Good.
No, no, you go ahead.
Now, two things for you. Like you said, your team, right? So, what your team look like, and what's your plan for growth like? Because I don't. Are you about to be goddamn Toastmasters 2.0? What's up?
For
Oh,
sure.
Toastmaster, that's a good one.
That's funny. Funny questions. Man. So my team is a team of one, right? I got really lucky. One of my best friends is super talented at video. He's been in this business since he was 16. So he's my age now, so he's like 26. So he's been in the game for like 10 years now. So
Dope.
what happened was when I started making money instead of moving out of my parents' basement, I just went to my friend and I just said, dude, can you give me a discount and just do this full time? I'll give you 25% of what I make. That's how seriously I took Master Talk,
Dope, dope.
right? So and then he just said, "Sure, man." So we started working together, and we've been together ever since, right?
That's
So he's
The
fire.
been,
videos look really good.
That's
They look
fire.
clean,
Yeah.
professional. The lighting's good. Is the videos, like
Thumbnails
I
are
say, are
great.
official. Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah, yeah. And the designer, I once again, luck. It's all network, right? You just got to know good people. If you're a good person, you meet the right people. So thumbnails was the same thing. My best friend gave me a huge, massive discount. He's like a pretty famous guy now, like on TikTok. He's like
Dope.
painting for a lot of like famous celebrities, and I just got lucky that I met him early, and he just makes my thumbnails.
You got
He
grandfather
does
in.
them
That's dope.
cheap, yeah.
Yeah, probably that's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's dope.
yeah,
You
Yeah,
say
yeah. So
another.
how do you plan on growing? Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah. So growth. My model's a little bit different, King. Obviously, I want to grow on YouTube. It's important, but it's not my number one priority.
What's up?
So for example, like Mr. Beast, that's his number one priority. So he's doing B-rolls. He has a whole team. He might be spending like millions of dollars
Right.
on a single video. Like he's nuts. That's not my number one
He's making
priority.
it back, right? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. My number one priority is just getting the knowledge out. So what I do with my YouTube, it's very strategic. It's like I want to do the minimal level of production that gets the most results. So there's not a lot of B-rolls, but it's clean, right? But it's not like like the best content and like the educationally it's the best content, I believe, but not the best production value in the world currently. So most of my time, what I've found, King, what's most sustainable after you try a bunch of things, is really focusing on my clients is what will make everything else sustainable. So, for example, there's 100 to 200 people who drive most of the financials in my business. So it's
Hmm.
about taking them out to dinner, rubbing shoulders with their friends, right? Talking to their high level executives. That's what I spend most of my time doing. This is more for the people where I just like doing shows and networking with people, talking to people because it helps me
Hmm.
grow, right? It helps me get better. But that's where I spend most of my time is just chopping shop with people who have money. That's how I spend my time,
That's
and then
dope.
it makes me money so that I'm sustainable and I can keep producing videos. I probably spent like 30 40 G's on my YouTube channel so far. Like if I don't have money, I can't sustain that. There's no
Right.
way.
But it definitely has a look. It looks very professional,
Yeah,
which is
look
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Question.
Hey,
So
B. He
you
said, I ain't talking to you, brokies.
no, I got a question. Gary V, right?
Of course, yeah, he's like my hero.
All right. So I was thinking of Gary V, right? And he's this eccentric, very loud, very vulgar at times. I was thinking of a video where he was in a classroom and the teacher was telling him, "Why do you curse?" And he was saying, it doesn't matter, language, whatever you curse. Do you think, and I guess what your perspective is on Gary V or people that are out there and may use profanity or vulgarity, is it a good tactic? Is it frowned upon? Do you think Gary V probably shouldn't be using those words, or it depends on the person and he's already have a level of success, so nobody cares, he can do what he wants?
I'm indifferent, to be honest,
Okay.
Bunny. The reason is because I think a lot of us just get emotional about things. I think what Gary Vee proves really well is that there's people that you're gonna like and people that won't like you. Right? That's the name
I
of the
think,
game.
yeah, that's everybody. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's everybody.
Mhm.
So I respect Gary for going full and authentic, but the perspective I'll add is the reason I don't curse. I mean, sometimes I curse. I just never curse on my YouTube channel. I might curse on a
Well,
podcast or something,
right.
but I'll never do it on a YouTube channel because the algo dings that, right?
Mhm.
Like the algorithm will ding that, and because a lot of my parents, like my client parents, they don't want to share that with their kids if there's curse words in it, and that defeats the purpose of my mission, right?
That makes sense.
So that's the reason I don't curse, but I don't feel like it's 100% authentic to me for not cursing. But where for Gary's, like he really feels like he needs to curse, or it's not
Right. Yeah.
100% him.
Yeah.
So I just say, do you? That's the
Yeah, he
key.
drops the F-bomb all the time. And I just felt like as a communicator, right? Because the lady was saying for somebody who doesn't need to, right? You got all this money and influence. You don't need to say those words. And he was like, I don't care. I want to be authentic. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it either. It's one of those things like I don't go out of my way to curse a lot. It's natural, right? But I'm not fuck, shit all the time. You know what I mean? So
But let's be real, guys. Like real
Mhm.
talk. I doubt the guy's swearing in front of the CEO of Pepsi. You know, when he's
Like,
having
yeah.
the big meetings at VaynerMedia and it's multi-million-dollar contracts, the guy's not swearing. I doubt it. I'd be very surprised.
That's a good question. I wish we should try to get him
I
on
would
and
not
ask him.
be. I'd 80%. I'd go 80% that he probably would drop a few.
Because I work with Fortune 500 too, right? With a lot of
Uh-huh.
those executives, just not like the full company. I might work with a couple of their execs. I'm not saying he's not swearing,
Mhm.
Right.
but like the guy's a businessman first, right? Never forget that. I don't think, and this is with all the respect in the world for him, right? So
Right.
I personally, I would bet money that he's not swearing in those meetings, like Fortune 500 client specific, but I could be wrong
Right.
on it. That's the
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be
Alpha's
interesting to
alpha.
ask
yeah.
him. Oh, you saying
Alpha's
he's an
alpha.
alpha? So you can curse, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Same with Dame Dash.
Uh,
Dame Dash is off the chain all the time
Alpha's
too. But
alpha.
yeah, Dame is just don't care either. It's just
And what you gonna
sometimes
say
it's hard.
to him?
Right.
Yeah.
What? That's funny.
I had a question too. So we're all tech guys, right? Where do you see tech and the communication space kind of colliding or marrying at?
Mm,
For
that's a good
sure,
one.
man. So here's what I think, King. There's like two pieces to that. One, that's actually how I grew my business initially. And the reason is because I knew a lot of people in the tech space. But the other piece is they had money, so it was a lot easier to work with them. The other piece and why they were, yeah, it's just the truth. The other
I
piece,
love that, bro. My bad. I'm not talking to nobody who ain't got no money, dog. It just don't make no sense, right? Like,
right? Or else
yeah.
it's not sustainable, right? Because
Right.
let's
Facts.
backtrack, right? Because my mission is to help the 7-year-old girl who can't afford me. That's literally the mission, like for real. That's what I started the YouTube channel for. But if I ain't making money, I can't get to that 7-year-old girl. I'll go bankrupt by the time.
Right.
Like I can't serve. I can't be on this podcast, right? It just won't work, right?
Right.
So that's that. But for tech, what I'll say is communication is the delta in income and impact for like there's a big gap between a really good communicator in tech and someone who isn't. So for example, if you're like a technical developer, you could still do really well financially,
Mhm.
but if you're not a great communicator, it's hard to get promoted. You'll still get promoted, but you won't get promoted to the bigger echelons. Whereas if you're technical and you're super strong at communication, you're very dangerous in the industry. There's not a
Mhm.
lot of people who are technical prowess, like technical talents, and are really good at comms. So that's
Right.
why a lot of the ones who really want to be CTOs and CISOs, like Chief Information Security Officers, things like that, they
Mhm.
invest in people like me because they want to get to the top of the ladder.
That's good. That was good. That was going to be one of my
You agree,
questions.
Frank?
No, yeah, I do. I do because
Yeah.
it's almost like in the corporate world, if you have great or excellent or mastery communication skills, it can take you far, right? And then a lot of times you'll see, especially in tech, the speakers don't necessarily, like you said, don't know all the tech jargon. They're just good at communicating. They'll talk to their tech guys, get the basic information, learn how to relay it. Whereas the guy here with 400 pounds eating donuts, with sandals in the server room, he knows all the code and all that, but he can't present it right like the presenter guy can. So it's one of those things, pick and choose, right? If you want to grow in the corporate world or be, like you said, one of those the C executive guys, your communication has to be on point. And that's just one of the things you got to deal with. So yeah, just
that's a fact.
Yeah. Or you could be the tech guy that, is in the basement somewhere.
You can.
You still make a lot of money, right?
Still,
but you're not
absolutely.
Yeah, but
right.
Yeah. I figured that too. It's like I think I'm a resume. I always tell them I have a good soft skills, what I call it, right? Like like it's like you're saying, everybody they know their tech stuff, but can they communicate with a customer or somebody who owns the product or whatever, or the government, right? Whoever you're communicating with, can you tell them what's going on and actually do the work?
Speak the jargon, yeah. It's a balance there. You have to. I mean, me, I feel like I'm a good communicator. I know I'm not the greatest, right? Like I've been thrust into positions where I had no choice. So like fight for my life or die. But I would like to become really better and like to be a good communicator. I don't know. Sometimes I dream of being a public speaker, those people that get paid to travel and speak, inspire people or whatever. But there's a journey you got to get there, right? You got to start small. I did Toastmasters, right? I hated every second of it. But it was one of those things, like this was when I was in Arlington. Like, okay, so this is after my first day. Like the next week, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to be doing briefs every week. I got to find a Toastmasters out here. So I found a Toastmasters, pretty cool group. We did the Toastmasters thing. I was there for like maybe a year, something like that. I didn't go every meeting, but I went to almost every one. I got better,
That's
whatever.
awesome,
but
man.
yeah, but I hated every fucking minute of it. Even if I would have started up again, I would still hate it. You know what I'm saying? But I do this podcast and I'm safe in my room behind the camera and the webcam and the mic. So here we are.
Could it be because you're not talking about, like you talked about earlier, something that you care about or some passionate about, right?
I mean, I care. Yeah. Could what be it? Like,
so
why I hate Toastmasters?
Toastmasters, you are going and then you communicating while you were at your job, right? It wasn't the most funnest thing to do, right? Because it was, I'm sure it was
not the stuff that we had to talk about. No, I mean, it was part of the job, but
right.
That was high level management, freaking statistical,
wasn't
vulnerabilities.
fun for you.
No, not at all. Not fucking at all. But I survived. I'm still alive. So
there you go.
Maybe that could have been it,
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I would say for me, man, based on what you shared, the advice I would give is if your goal is to be a public speaker, depends on what topic you want to present.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you don't have to wait for a coach or Toastmasters or anybody. Just literally open a Zoom call and say, hey, I'm giving a presentation on this and see if you even like it.
True.
Right? Because you might not even like it, and then it's not worth you investing time into. Just focus on the pod.
Yeah, I could do that. And what if 100 people call in and I got 100 little boxes? I'm like, I might as well be standing in front of them. Nah,
I'm doing that shit.
We thought you would do that, King. You be down?
What?
Just open up Zoom and just do. I don't know. Just
so when he said that, I was like, damn, technology is so amazing. We live in the greatest time ever. But here's something for real. I made a flyer with my number saying if you want some good advice or somebody positive to talk to, call me. So you know how they post a board inside a laundry room somewhere on the mall, you take the tab off the number. I did all that. I printed it up. I cut the little tabs. I just never hung them up. So yeah, I do that. And my thing was gonna be
so you failed.
No, I didn't hang it up. Yeah. So, but my thing was gonna be, I was gonna be like, if you enjoyed your conversation, send me some on the Cash App. I still might do it, bro.
Yeah, do that. That sounds like a dope idea.
I still might do that.
Improvise, talk to random people.
I don't mind talking to people. So here's another story. When I teach my kids computer literacy, right, I would have them go in the library and hold a random conversation with a stranger. You know what I mean? And the stranger would be more off-put because it's like, I gotta talk to this fucking kid. How? But the kid is just like, oh my God, I'm gonna talk to this dog. But I'm gonna go try. And I'm standing there looking, I'm watching the interaction between the kid and the dog, or whoever the kid chooses to talk to.
Right.
and the adults like way more sweating than the kid. But
Right. Yeah,
afterwards,
no,
the kid
I'm
is
like
like,
that around kids.
no, the
That'll be
kids are
me.
like, oh
I'll
my
be like,
god, that was fun. They loved
who
it.
are
They
you? Why are
like
you talking to me?
they realized talking to other people or just talking period wasn't more that tough. Like I love that experiment.
True.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That'll be me. I'd be the one. Who is this kid? Where do you belong? Where's your parents? Why are you talking to me? Are you lost?
I was standing there, bro. So
That's what's up. So what do you have anything you promote, or you just have your YouTube channel? Do you have, I think I asked you already, do you have courses, a website people go find more information about you, maybe join one of your courses, join one of your classes, or anything you wanna promote?
For sure, guys. Thanks for having me on. This is fun. So two ways to keep in touch. The first one is definitely
Mhm.
the YouTube channel. Just go to Master Talk.
Right.
And the second one is I do a free workshop on communication every 2 weeks that people can jump on. That's online
Nice.
over Zoom, which is exactly what I just told you to do.
Facts.
So we do that every
Okay,
2
cool. Yeah,
So
let's
yeah,
get the
Preach it.
information for that.
yeah.
You
So
have
that's
the information for the next one?
yeah, of course. So the website is rockstarcommunicator.com, and then you'll
Okay.
have the info there.
beast name.
Nice, dope. Cool, man. This is dope conversation. We're definitely gonna keep an eye on you. Did you have any other questions, King?
Nah, bro. Sound like you can command the conversation. I'm sure I would love to see you in person, right? To command the room, right? It's always curious to see people when they are able to, talk in front of a lot of people.
Oh
And
yeah.
then when
No,
they
that's
talk to you in
inspiring.
person, they're a little different than when they talk to you in front of, by themselves. You know what I mean? So I would love to see that. But
Yeah, that's
nah,
inspiring.
bro. Appreciate you coming through. Goddamn gonna have some good gems in there. I'm sure people gonna get a lot out of it, and maybe they
Oh
can
yeah,
take some of the stuff and use it and apply it into their everyday life. You feel me?
definitely. You said you're on Master Your Talk is TikTok and Twitter?
Yeah,
Or
no, Insta.
oh,
So tag
TikTok
me
and
on
Instagram.
Insta, and
Okay.
I'll share on steroids. I'll
You got
share on
steroids?
stories.
Pause.
So is that something you use to speak in front of people? Just pump yourself full of steroids and jump on the stage?
I'll plead the
That's what-
fifth on that one.
So this
Neither
is a
am
good
I,
show,
so-
man. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us. This is pretty dope.
Of course, guys. Peace and love. It was super fun.
Thank you. All
Hey,
right.
bro,
you have
go
a
get
good
some kids.
night. He said go get some. He's too
Bro.
busy, bro. What you talking
Bro.
about?
He's out of here. He's about to run.
Maybe in like 10 years, man.
Okay.
Slow down, bro.
All right, cool. All right, cool.
All right.
Peace, guys. Happy
Peace out.
holidays.
You too, definitely.
Continue.
Yeah,
All right,
peace,
thanks.
best. Yeah, peace.